Let's discuss a leadership skill that can help you shift to become the type of leader that you were destined to be. Today, we're digging in to courage. Hey everybody, it's Coach Arnold. One of the ways that I want to serve you as your coach is to help you determine the type of leader that you want to be. The way you determine the type of leader that you want to be is by determining the values that you want to exhibit. A value that should be at the top of the list is courage. I want to share with you 4 types of courage that you can apply to your life and your leadership. Before we get started, please do me a favor and press those like and subscribe buttons. Courage is one of those values that I describe as a look-back value. This is a value where you only recognize it's there after you have used it in an experience. Courage involves the ability to take action and to keep it moving, even when we are afraid. My perspective on courage has changed over the years. Earlier in life, I thought of courage as the work that you do to remove fear from parts of your life. Now I have a different perspective. I know that courage is acting despite present fear. As a matter of fact, when a little bit of fear is present as I'm moving forward, I have confidence that I'm on the right journey. There's something you need before you can look back and see courage. The critical factor to building courage in your life and your leadership is having a strong desire that's connected to your core identity. Why is that? Well, because acts of courage often come as a response to something that threatens a desire that you care deeply about. For me, it was a desire to fulfill my calling that activated courage in my life. So the starting place for building courage is cultivating strong desire. Now that we know the starting place for courage, let's talk about the 4 types of courage that will really give you a boost on your leadership journey. The first type of courage that you want to cultivate is the courage to take action. Throughout my journey, I've discovered that courage isn't a single moment where you act in a grand gesture. It's a collection of moments, a collection of small decisions that gradually transform the way we see ourselves and the way that we interact with the world. As a teenager from a poor family, I feared all kinds of things growing up. I was scared of some of the crazy people in my neighborhood. I was afraid that girls wouldn't like me because of the complexion of my skin. I had anxiety that I might not be smart enough to compete with the middle class kids that I ended up going to school with. But my biggest anxiety was at the thought that I might mess up my spiritual calling. Fulfilling my calling was my great desire. It was the reason that I needed to take action. Every single day, I chose to move forward, not because I was brave necessarily, but because I had no other option. I had to complete my spiritual mission. I had to pursue it with everything that I had. The one thing I knew with certainty was that I could only fulfill my calling through exercising my faith. There is a powerful biblical principle that supports the courage to take action. Here's the concept. Faith without works is dead. You can believe and dream all you want. You can even cultivate strong desire. But if you don't have the courage to act, your faith is useless. My faith became the antidote to the anxiety that was showing up in my life. You don't have to eliminate fear and anxiety to show courage. You just have to move forward. So I want to encourage you to move forward. Move forward while fear is screaming in your ear. Move forward while anxiety is raging in your mind. Each step you take, no matter how small, is an act of defiance against the anxiety that is threatening you. The next type of courage that supports you in your leadership journey is the courage to become self-aware. Courage shows up not only in your actions, but also in your mindset. Your mindset dictates your willingness to look honestly at yourself, even when it's hard. When you are willing to take a deep look at yourself, you build your capacity for self-awareness. Self-awareness is the ability to focus on yourself and see how your thoughts and actions line up with your identity. It takes courage to dig deeply into your own thinking, because anything that challenges our identity can generate insecurity. When I was working on my graduate certificate in organizational coaching, I faced an assignment that challenged me. We were asked to write an autobiography. This wasn't just another project for me. It was a chance to understand the experiences that made me who I am. Growing up in a poor family had left some invisible scars. These were the memories that I had carefully kept locked away. The idea of reopening these memories and potentially sharing them with others, it scared me. As I documented my history, each word I wrote threatened to bring back painful feelings. Each paragraph could create a potential emotional storm. My first instinct was to protect myself, to keep those experiences hidden and untouched. I'm glad that I chose a different option. I'm glad I had the willingness to build self-awareness. Now, this may seem simple to some, but it was difficult for me. I understood my potential as a coach and a person depended on my willingness to be completely real, to bring my whole self forward. Choosing to be fully present to gain self-awareness is courage. For the next two types of courage, I want to address them in the context of your leadership in corporate organizations. The first is the courage to show vulnerability. Research has shown that helping people overcome their limitations at work is at the heart of effective leadership. In the corporate world, we're taught to hide our limitations. But I've discovered that being vulnerable allows you to connect better with your team. So even though it's effective, vulnerability at work still takes courage. Most of us are taught to hide our limitations. We build professional walls, believing that showing any weakness will destroy our credibility. But true leadership is about something deeper. It's about creating spaces where human imperfection isn't just accepted, but is seen as a path to growth. Revealing that you need help doesn't mean you're broken. It means you have the capacity to be understood. It's an invitation to solve problems together with your team. It's a way of saying, I'm still learning and we're here together. When a leader shows that they're still learning, they give everyone else permission to do the same. As we get ready to take a look at our last type of courage, the courage to change, we're seeing a powerful pattern. Each type of courage builds on the last and creates an approach to leadership that values authenticity over fake perfection. The final type of courage is the courage to change. The willingness to change demands courage because transformation comes with a big mental and emotional cost. Brooke Castillo from the Life Coach School once said, "You have to be willing to give up everything you are today in order to transform into the person that you were meant to become. Giving up everything you are is an expensive price to pay for transformation, but it's worth it, and I get it." For years, I operated a strategy that undermined my career and potential for growth. I split my life into two separate worlds, my work life and my spiritual calling. I saw myself as a leader outside of work, but within my professional walls, I reduced myself to just another employee. I was afraid that caring too much about my job might mess up my bigger dreams. This fear kept me from fully connecting with my work and with my teams. My professional life was just a job, while my leadership outside of work felt like my true calling. I was afraid that becoming too invested in my professional role might compromise my perceived purpose. This fear created competing commitments, and fuel what researchers call an immunity to change. In other words, my approach created a hidden problem. I would complain about feeling unfulfilled at work while secretly sabotaging myself from finding true meaning. I was protecting myself from disappointment, or so I thought, but actually I was stopping myself from growing. Things began to change when I found the courage to become a bivocational leader. I joined an organization that welcomed different perspectives. I found a team that recognized what I brought to the table. They appreciated my views and leveraged my skill set. Then it became clear that my job wasn't holding me back. It was fear. The courage to change was the strategy that I actually needed. To wrap this one up, the courage to change is an act of believing in yourself and in your transformation. It means choosing your potential over your comfort. So those are the 4 types of courage to cultivate. Whether it's in your personal life or in your corporate life, courage will enhance your leadership. Your leadership isn't defined by your perfection, but by your authenticity. The path to courage only requires you taking the first step. Are you ready? Well, look, thanks for listening. And here's another reminder to please like and subscribe. I'm Coach Arnold. You are a bivocational leader. You are a champion, and I'm your biggest fan. I'll see you next time.